Okay, welcome to this video lesson focusing on the poem by Kieran Carson called Belfast Confetti, which appears on the Edexcel Conflict Anthology. So a bit of context. Carson was born in Belfast and was a young man when the Troubles started in 1968. The Troubles relate to a 30-year period where the Republicans waged a campaign against the presence of the British soldiers in their efforts to secure a united Ireland. The Unionists wanted to remain a part of the United Kingdom. He was intrigued by language and its uses from an early age, something fostered by his bilingual upbringing. Violence and the effects of violence often feature heavily in his writing, and you can see that apparent in Belfast Confetti. This poem's so what's this poem about? Right, starting in the middle of the action, this poem explores the panic and confusion in the immediate aftermath of a bomb's detonation and the speaker's frantic attempts to flee. Although suggesting a celebration, the title actually refers to the shrapnel from explosives and the missiles used in riots, such as screws, bolts, nails, as they came raining down from the sky, in a similar fashion to you'd throw confetti up in the air, say, as the newly married couple walk out of the church. Kind of a nod to Carson's use of language and fascination with language. Themes include conflict, effects and reality of conflict, individual experience, panic, fear and confusion. So in the examiner's looking for you to focus on form, structure and language in particular. So I've made some observations on those three areas, and then before going on to a line-by-line analysis of the actual poem. However, at this point I want to say method and meaning again. The examiner is looking for you to identify poetic devices and techniques. That's great, that'll get you 5 or 6. But to get any higher than that, you need to explore the meaning, the impact, the effect these particular devices and techniques have. So it's method and meaning. I'll show you what I mean here. So the form, using the first person perspective, there's your method, gives the reader a sense of being an eyewitness at the event. There's the meaning, there's the method and meaning together. Irregular line length, incomplete sentences, caesura and enjambment, there are your methods, all give the poem a fragmented feel, reflecting how the speaker is bewildered at what's just happened. There's your meaning. Repeated questions at the end of the poem, method, convey the confusion. There's your meaning. Okay, I'm not going to keep doing that. I've illustrated it there. You understand method and meaning. In terms of techniques, caesura, any punctuation in the middle of a line. Enjambment is where one line continues on to the next, so there's no punctuation at the end of the line. Structure, the poem opens in the middle of the action, that's known as in media res, but doesn't reach any conclusion, possibly to reflect the ongoing confusion of the speaker. The two stanzas shift from past tense to the present tense to further reinforce this ongoing panic. And then language and imagery. The impression of devastation is conveyed through the use of verbs such as burst, raining, stuttering, alongside adjectives like broken. There's a semantic field of war throughout the poem. For example, explosion, riot, rapid fire, fusillade. Punctuation is usually used to control writing, but in Carson's case, the way he uses it, it's thrown all over the poem, and this accentuates the complete lack of order and control present on the streets of Belfast at this time. Raining exclamation marks and fusillade of question marks. So in this poem, the extended metaphor of punctuation is used to reflect the war-torn streets, suggesting the war has left the speaker speechless. Okay, so let me get the annotations up. There we go. Suddenly, in media res, kind of right in the middle of the action, suddenly as the riot squad moved in, it was raining exclamation marks. Nuts, bolts, nails, car keys. A fount of broken type, and the explosion. Itself, an asterisk on the map. This hyphenated line, a burst of rapid fire. I was trying to complete a sentence in my head, but it kept stuttering. All the alleyways and side streets blocked with stops and colons. So, suddenly starts in the middle of the action, reflects the violence immediately. It was raining exclamation marks, metaphor painting vivid image of the debris from the bomb showering down on top of people. Remember, like confetti falls out of the sky. We're talking about this list here. Nuts, bolts, nails, car keys, anything that could inflict damage on the victims or the targets for the bomb and the riots as well. So the list of items used by the writers and labelled as Belfast Confetti. And look at the Caesura here. Nuts, bolts, nails, car keys, just a list, full stop. A font of broken type, a fount of broken type, full stop. And the explosion. So you've got a bit of enjolment and Caesura all combined together just to add to the confusion of the scene. Broken type, and then inability to complete a sentence later on, perhaps a failure of words to describe the scene, kind of reflects the confusion, doesn't understand what's happening or indeed why. Your ellipses, another variation on the punctuation used. This could reflect the stream of bullets fired. Could reflect. I'm interpreting it. I don't know for sure, but it's a valid interpretation based on the overall context of the poem. I was trying to complete a sentence in my head, but it kept stuttering. Onomatopoeic describes the gunfire reflecting the speaker's fear. All the alleyways and side streets blocked with stops and colons. Fails in his attempts to escape, as represented by full stops. Could also be a graphic image of physical imagery, your colon, your inside, on the streets caused by the bomb. It's another interpretation. Remember, top band, tentative analysis, multiple or alternative interpretations. Right. I know this labyrinth so well. Balaclava, Raglan, Inkerman, Odessa Street. So the present tense now we've moved to gives it a sense of immediacy. It's happening right now. The labyrinth implies difficulty and confusion despite the familiarity of the area. Name of streets in Belfast known to the speaker, but none allowing him to flee, adds to the confusion and the realism in the aftermath of this bomb explosion. Why can't I escape? Panic. Every move is punctuated, implies violence and hesitancy and inability to escape. Crimea Street. Dead end again. So you've got Caesura, enjolment, and end stops reflect the confusion and panic. He's unable to escape or to understand what's going on. And look at all the question marks. A name, where am I coming from? Where am I going? Now, this is let's see if I've written this. This is a reference also to like a stop and search, where young men were frequently stopped and they were challenged. What's your name? Where you coming from? Where you going? What business you're about. Such was the tension on the streets of Belfast at the time. A fusillade of question marks. Lines end abruptly to reflect the lack of progress on the speaker's attempts to escape. A is the first word of a sentence, but it's the last word of the line. A fusillade of question marks, violence and danger, a series of shots, and a series of questions to reflect the bewilderment of the speaker. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of energy in this second stanza, and that energy is all geared towards conveying the confusion and panic and lack of understanding and fear that the speaker is feeling as this bomb has just exploded and he's trying to get out of harm's way. Okay, hopefully that's that is plenty for you to sink your teeth into in terms of preparation for your exam. A reminder that summary of the poetic devices that are used here, remember, method and meaning, you have to identify these but also explore their meaning, the effect they have. Irregular line length, first person perspective, caesura, enjolment, punctuation, in media res, imagery, metaphor, ellipses, onomatopoeia. Some useful vocab to use when analysing as well to kind of enhance the sophistication of your analysis. Confusion, bewilderment, fleeing, danger, violence, troubles, panic, fear, trapped, overwhelming, devastation, distressed, nationalists and unionists. Links to other poems, The Bomb Incident in War Photographer, or The Horrors of Conflict from a Realistic First-Person Perspective in Exposure. Okay, hope you found that useful. See you on all the other videos. Bye for now.